Hi, this is a tutorial on the new approval workflow in Vergo. Previously, adding a receipt to any transaction would clear it from your to-do list. Although this was helpful, it wasn't as clear that all the coding had been completed and that the transaction had actually been submitted for approval by the user. Now we have a couple different states represented by tags in the system. The top transaction for Apple has a new tag. The second one for Enterprise Rent-A-Car has a pending tag, and Home Depot has a rejected tag. The new tag are transactions that have fully cleared at the bank. I've swiped my card, the bank has cleared the funds, and it's ready to be fully coded and submitted for approval. The pending transaction means that the bank is still clearing this transaction and it may or may not go through yet. However, you can still add a receipt and any additional coding to this transaction, but you will not be able to submit it for approval. The third option, the Home Depot expense, shows that this transaction has been rejected by my team. So maybe I miscoded it or I uploaded the wrong receipt. My team can actually send it back to me with a note that says why it was rejected so I can make those updates and submit it again for approval. So on the top transaction, I'm going to click into it and you'll see here that I still need to add a receipt and some coding. So I'm just going to add a blank picture here for the receipt for this example. I'm going to add a profile here. And this requires me to add a job. And now all of my information here is good for this profile and this expense. You'll see at the bottom I have two options. I can save it as a draft or I could submit it for approval. Saving as a draft is going to keep it in my to-do list, but you'll notice that the green icon on the left of that top expense shows that I've added a receipt. If I click back into it, all my coding is still there. So this is a way to save your codes, save your receipts as you're making them without fully signing off on the expense yet and submitting it for approval. Maybe you need to get some additional information from a team member before you're ready to submit this expense. Now, if I submit this for approval, it's going to clear from my to-do list and it's going to go to the approval section for my team to review the expense and approve it. Now that it's gone out of my to-do list, I have my second transaction. I notice that this one has a tag of pending. Pending means that the bank has not yet cleared this transaction. Vergo allows me to add any receipt, any coding to this pending transaction, so I can work on it in real time without it clearing from the bank first, which might take days. As an example, I'm going to add some coding here. And you'll notice at the bottom, I only have one option. I can't submit this for approval, but I can save it as a draft. The reason for that is this transaction has not quite cleared at the bank yet. So the bank may or may not process this transaction. It may or may not go through. And we want to make sure that we're not passing any information to our accounting team for transactions that actually don't exist because the bank has either declined it or not processed the transaction. The amount also might be fluctuating and changing. This happens a lot for gas stations, where a gas station might authorize a charge for $1 or a set amount, but I actually filled up my tank for more than that, maybe $75.63. The amount will update in the next 48 hours, but showing these transactions in Vergo allows me to add a receipt and any coding instantly as soon as I made that purchase at the gas station without having to wait days for it to clear at the bank. Once that top transaction actually clears at the bank, the tag will change from pending to new, and I can look at that receipt and any coding again, and then I will have that option at the bottom to submit for approval. Now, the third transaction at Home Depot has been rejected by my team. I'm going to look into it and I'm going to notice that I didn't add a memo, which is always required for these types of expenses. So now that I've added my memo, I still need to add any of the coding required by my team as well. A job is required and the memo is required. So now that I have satisfied all of my team's expense requirements, I can see that I can resubmit this expense for approval. Saving it as a draft is still going to show that it was rejected. And now that all of the coding has been updated properly, I can again submit this for approval and it's off and going to my team for further refinement and any enhancement of any coding that might be required. We hope that this helps give a quick overview of the new Virgo experience with workflows. It's going to give your team deeper insight to transactions that are fully submitted and ready for approval, and those that are still being worked on by your team before they get reported into your accounting software.